Alright, so we actually got new gameplay for the Walking Dead Destinies, and in today's video I'm just going to be breaking down the trailer that they actually revealed for this game. There are actually two trailers. One trailer was actually focused on Shane, and the other one is just a full Rick gameplay. It's not really like a gameplay overview, but it's just a character trailer for Rick, and it shows quite a bit of gameplay. So in today's video I'll just be discussing that, and also I'll be discussing my final thoughts about this game before it comes out next week, so stay tuned. And now, before we actually get into the video, I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. And I want to say thank you for the overwhelming support that you all have been giving this channel. And I'm just seeing the views for the last Walking Dead Destinies video, and also the video before that, which was the crossover video, where I discussed the crossover series that was announced. And those two videos got an overwhelming amount of views. Again, it's just mind-blowing seeing that this channel is getting that many views. And again, this is all because of you guys, right? This growth is all because of you guys. And where this channel is today, it's all because of you guys. And it's all because of your guys' support. And I just want to personally say thank you to all of you. And also, I'm actually considering to actually make a gaming channel, right? Just reserved for gaming, where I do gameplay and just like normal stuff like that, because I don't want to actually make this channel messy, right? I want to keep it at discussions, theories, and speculation about The Walking Dead and also other shows in the future. So if I were to actually make a gaming channel just revolved around gaming, I think that would be much easier to actually differentiate. So this channel, you guys could come for theories and speculation and just discussions of just me talking, and then the other channel you guys could come for gameplay. And now comment down if that is something y'all want to see, and if I should actually make that gaming channel where I play the Walking Dead Destinies and I play Mortal Kombat and stuff like that. Just comment down if you guys want to see something like that. And now, other than that, let's actually get into the video. And now first, let's actually get into that weird Shane trailer, right? I mean, they've been releasing trailers like that. It's kind of animations, kind of looking like comic books a bit. And they have been showing a little bit of gameplay, but this Shane one, they've showed quite a bit of gameplay, and just for the first 10 seconds. And over here we actually do see Rick on on a platform, right? And he's sneaking, right? So this is probably in Atlanta. At first I thought it was the barn, but if you look at it closely, he's in Atlanta because he's wearing his sheriff uniform and stuff like that. So this is in Atlanta. This is in the start of the game, right? Probably the third, fourth mission, and Rick is actually sneaking from the walkers. There's nothing much to say about that other than there's going to be a lot of stealth in this game, because a lot of other stuff that they actually did show in this trailer, it does show that their stealth is going to be a huge point of this game. And now, another thing I actually want to point out about this screenshot right here, it looks like that this is the point where Glenn actually saves Rick, right? When Rick actually hears Glenn in the radio, then he has to run, and then they're climbing up until the building, and then they meet Merle, right? They're actually hiding from the walkers and stuff like that. This is probably that point, and you're probably you're supposed to be quiet and stuff like that, following Glenn, and not alerting the walkers at the same time. And now this next screenshot here is of T-Dog, and he's shooting a walker. And this point right here, this is in the farm, right? This is in season 2 of The Walking Dead, right? They're in Herschel's farm right here. And it kind of looks like it's around that point where they're actually taking the walker out of the well. I hope that's a full mission, right? I hope that's a whole sequence where you hold the stick back, or you mash the button and you try getting the walker out, but then it rips apart and then it actually contaminates the water. Or if there's another what if situation of that and you successfully get the walker out, and then that could be a point of where you could actually get water, and you could basically regain your health there at that point. But again, nothing much to say here. You're playing as T-Dog here, and you're shooting a walker at Herschel's farm. And now this next screenshot right here, you're playing as Glenn, and of course this is in Atlanta, right? And I can't make heads or tails of which point this is. This is probably the point where they go back to Atlanta to save Merle, but then Glenn gets kidnapped by the Vatos, the gang that they actually did show in season 1. They take Glenn. Or this could be when Glenn actually saves Rick, and you're playing as Glenn to clear out the walkers while Rick is in the tank, trying to actually escape it. So, Glenn could be used as that distraction, to get all the walkers to kill them, and, just to lure them away from where Rick is, so then he could successfully get out, and then you switch back to Rick. This could be either one of those. And now this screenshot right here is probably the most interesting one. It's because this takes place in season 4, when actually, like, you know, the infection is actually going around in the prison, like, you know, when they eat the boar or the pig and then everyone gets sick, right? This is around those episodes, and you're playing as Carol right here. And again, it does say cell block C, so this is in the prison episodes. This is, like, you know, around the beginning of season 4, middle way of season 4. And the very interesting part about this is that you can see, like, you know, the eye icon above the walkers, and I think, like, you know, this is pretty obvious that you know, there is a stealth mechanic in this game, and, you know, like, the walkers, like, if they see you, and then that, like, that symbol actually does come up above them, like, of the eye, and that means that the walkers could see you, and then they're following you, right? You know, then, like, you know, they alert the horde and stuff like that, and then you have no other choice but to shoot them, right? And I think that that's a very interesting mechanic. That's a very good mechanic that they added in this, but personally, like, you know, I think there should be an option where you could turn that off to make the game a little bit more interesting, a little bit more harder. You have to go off of, like, you know, what you hear, and if you hear the walkers coming closer to you, then, like, you're screwed, right? You know, I really do hope that there's an option to turn off that eye symbol. And now over here we actually do see that eye symbol again, and I believe they're playing as Rick, right? You know, over here you're playing as Rick, and this looks like around the prison episodes, right? This is outside the prison, and, you know, again, you know, you can see that icon with those walkers coming towards you, and we have seen this a couple of times. We have seen this part, like, you know, where Rick actually does shoot and the walkers blow up, so, you know, there's not really much to talk about here. Alright, so over here we're seeing our first gameplay of bearded Shane, right? Like, Shane with Rick's murder jacket and big beard, and also he has hair now. And again, this looks very interesting. I believe this is in the prison as well. And like, you know, this looks like, you know, at the end of season 4, right? You know, this could be, like, you know, after, like, they actually leave the prison, because I can't make heads or tails of it, right? I can't really come up with where this is taking place, but it does look like this is either after the prison or this is during the end of the prison. You know, this could be during Terminus. Now, like, again, like, this is not confirmation of anything, but it does look like that. Now, again, like, you can see here that Shane is using an axe, right? And I'll be getting to that point later on in this video, but it does seem like that characters are not bound to, like, whatever weapons they're good with. You know, they could probably use multiple weapons, which is a very good sign. And other than that, like, you know, it looks like that they're going into, like, this animation, right? And I did come up with this theory before in, like, my last video, that, you know, there's going to be this, like, you know, if you beat up on a walker, right, and there's probably going to be like a kill animation where it goes to, like, this whole animation, then you could either decapitate the walker or bash its head in. We did see that multiple times, and even in the next trailer I'll be breaking down, it does seem like that. And now let's actually get into the Rick character trailer, and this one is the most interesting one because this is just all gameplay, right? And again, like, this shot right here looks pretty good. It looks really good, right? I don't know, it just looks badass. But, you know, weirdly it looks like season 8 Rick, but, you know, again, this is season 3 Rick, right? You know, where Rick is in the prison. But, you know, like, it like, you know, at first glance it looks like season 8 Rick, but we know that, you know, season 8 is not a thing in this game. It's going to be up until season 4. But this shot right here, we know that this is right after Rick kills Shane. And yeah, like, you know, this is not necessarily season 3, but this is the end of season 2. And now this shot right here, we can actually see the stealth aspect of this game, right? This is in Atlanta, right? You know, right after Rick actually meets Morgan and he makes his way to Atlanta on the horse. And of course, right here we see Rick is actually sneaking up behind a walker with a bat. But then we see Rick actually kills that walker with a knife. So it seems like that if you were to actually sneak behind walkers, I think that the kill animation, like, you know, the instant kill would be with the knife to the head, kind of like the Assassin's Creed games, right? You know, you sneak behind your opponent and then you use your hidden blade and you kill them, right? That is the way to kill them in that game. So it looks like that this is the same concept here, that if you were to sneak behind a walker or a person, then you just stab him in the head with the knife. And in this shot right here, we actually do see something very interesting, right? This is Rick with his sheriff uniform. So this is in the first camp, right? You know, where actually Rick does reunite with Lori and Carl. And right here, we do see Rick using an axe. And again, that's the point I wanted to make from that last screenshot of Shane, is that characters are not bound to just one weapon, because you see on the website, it says that Rick's weapon of choice is a bat, but over here we see that, you know, he's using an axe. So it looks like that you could just use multiple weapons, or you could just pick up weapons from the ground and stuff like that, and then you could actually kill, like, you know, the walkers with that. But, you know, I think that the character would actually work best with the weapons of choice, right? You know how Rick has the bat, you know, there's probably like specific animations for Rick with that bat. So, you know, like when it comes to weapon of choice, like you would want to choose the bat, but you could also use other weapons as well. And now over here we actually do see another very interesting thing, Rick using his bat against multiple walkers, and it looks like that one swing from his bat kills 2 walkers back to back, like just in one hit, both of their heads explode. Now that's one thing that's kind of worrying me about this game. I hope that the walkers aren't a one-hit kill, right? Because this is season 1 and the walkers were a little harder to kill in season 1, right? They were more smart, they were like, you know, climbing, like not really running, but you know, they used to walk faster and they used to climb and stuff like that. So I hope that this game doesn't like make the walkers a one-hit kill, because then that like actually just takes away the whole fun out of the game and, you know, just the difficulty. So again, like I hope that this, what we're seeing right here, is after like Rick, like, you know, he hit the walkers multiple times, and then that's the last hit of him blowing up both of their heads. And now this screenshot right here, we actually do see Rick stabbing the walker in the neck and then in the head, right? You know, this is a kill animation, and this does seem like that, like, you know, Rick actually did sneak up behind the walker, and then the walker turns around and then it goes into that animation. Or like, you know, maybe the knife is another weapon on its own, like how in Days Gone, like, you know, the knife is a weaker weapon, but, you know, you could use it as a weapon, and, you know, there is a kill animation for if you get multiple hits in. So, you know, let's just see. Now in this shot here, we actually do see another kill animation of Rick actually stomping on a walker, right? And again, like how that walker came on the ground, probably like there's some sort of thing where you could actually trip them, or you could hit them in a specific body part, they fall down, and then it goes to that kill animation. And yeah, like other than that, like, you know, a lot of these kills and a lot of these animations and the way that the combat is working is reminding me a lot of Days Gone and also the Evil Dead game. Now in this shot right here, we actually do see like Rick in his old neighborhood, right? This is probably the very start of the game, like, you know, after you make it to the hospital and you actually make it to Morgan, right? Morgan actually does take care of Rick. So, you know, this screenshot like kind of confirms that Morgan is going to be in this game. Is he going to be playable? Who knows, right? Because it does seem like that Herschel and other characters are playable, like Maggie and stuff like that, but they didn't officially reveal them. So, you know, there's a good chance that Morgan could be playable here in this sequence with Rick. And now in this shot right here, we actually do see another kill animation with the bat, and like, you know, Rick is wailing on this walker, right? He's beating the walker's head in with his bat, and it's a lot like how Negan does, right? So, you know, if Negan were in this game, right, you know, if this game actually did go up to like season 8, season 10, then I could totally imagine Negan having a kill like that. But yeah, other than that, like, you know, just he's in Atlanta, he's using his bat, and he's killing a walker. Really nothing much else to talk about. And now we actually do get this shot of Rick, and not gonna lie, his character model looks very, very rough, right? But other than that, like, you know, this is in the Atlanta camp, right? This is in season 1, and this is probably the point where, like, you know, he's gonna go find Merle with Daryl and Glenn. And but you know, Rick's Colt Python is black, right? You know, like the color is off of that. Like, I don't know if that's his Colt Python, right? It could be a different gun, but you know, it does look like a revolver, so you know, it should be gray. I don't know. And this is the only shot where I saw it was black, but like the other shots that they actually did show us of the gun, it's gray. So you know, this could be a totally different gun. Alright, now in this shot right here, we actually do see Rick shooting a walker with his Colt Python, right, with his revolver. And like, you know, the detail I like here is that, you know, they actually implemented that pose that Rick always does whenever he's about to shoot his revolver, right? You know, it's very iconic. So, you know, it's really good that, you know, they chose, like, you know, Rick with the one hand, you know, shooting the walkers. Now, you know, this is in the season 1 camp, right? You know, this is in the Atlanta camp, and it seems like this is where the walkers actually came and killed, like, you know, Amy and Jim and stuff like that. So this is after they actually returned from Atlanta, after, you know, looking for Merle. Now, over here again, we see Rick pointing his gun at a couple of walkers. He has his axe equipped. And the interesting thing here is that when he points at this walker, right, it seems like that this walker has a grenade strapped to him. So it looks like that you could actually shoot grenades and bombs. and you know they blow up, because in the next shot here we actually do see the rest of the walkers blowing up. Now, you know, this has nothing to do with Rick's revolver, right? I doubt that you could equip something to it to make everything explode. You know, probably that walker has like a you know, grenade strapped to it before, like, you know, it died, right? It's probably like a soldier or somebody like that, and then like he shoots the revolver, and then then he shoots the revolver, and then the grenade blows up, and then the rest of the walkers actually do end up dying. And now this shot here, right here, is actually the coolest part about this trailer, because Rick is using his axe and he kills one walker, and then he spins around and he kills the other walker. So again, like, you know, like it's just very cool seeing, like, you know, chain kills, basically. Like, this is basically like a chain kill, but you know, so far, like, you know, the combat of this game looks pretty good. And now, you know, I just want to give my thoughts about these two trailers, and, you know, just my thoughts of the game before it actually comes out. And, you know, so far, the game, like, visually doesn't look the best, right? The graphics aren't good, the character models aren't good, but, you know, the combat looks pretty fun, right? You know, from what we saw, it looks like crunchy, meaty combat, right? Kind of like the Evil Dead games and Days Gone, like how I mentioned in my previous video. And it does seem a lot like Days Gone, right? Like, you know, the way that you hit the weapons and the way that the animations work and stuff like that, it reminded me of that a lot. And but yeah, other than that, like, I think that the gameplay is a thumbs up. You know, we have to see, like, we have to see for ourselves, we have to play this game for ourselves to actually get a real feel of the gameplay. But so far the gameplay is pretty good, right? Just from what I'm seeing. And also, just the whole concept of this game, like, you know, the whole what ifs, like, concepts, and, like, you know, your choice and how the story could change, right? It's very interesting, right? It's very cool, and, you know, like, I'll be playing this game multiple times, right? I'll be doing multiple playthroughs, right? Like, you know, Shane's story, then Rick's story, and then, like, change, like, some subtle details here and there, right? You know, even if the game doesn't look the best, I think I will be enjoying this game, and I think a lot of hardcore Walking Dead fans will actually end up enjoying this game as well. Now, when it comes to the voice acting, personally, when it comes to Rick specifically, I don't like Rick's voice acting at all, right? Like, you know, it doesn't sound like Andrew Lincoln, right? The accent seems forced, and, you know, it's very off-putting, and I think that that's gonna probably bother me quite a bit while I'm playing this game. But, you know, if you look at the Shane trailer, right, it seems like that Hershel's voice is very accurate, Daryl's voice is very accurate, and Shane's voice is pretty accurate also, right? But, you know, we didn't hear the other characters, but these are the characters that we did hear voice lines of. And yeah, like, you know, so far Rick, like, you know, is very far from Andrew Lincoln, right? Like, you know, that does not sound like Andrew Lincoln at all. And but the other characters, right, you know, they do sound like, you know, they're actors. They did make a good impersonation of them. But Rick in general, like, I don't know, like, we have to play the game, we have to see for ourselves. Probably might grow on me, but I don't know, like, we'll just see. And now that's it for today's video. I'd like to ask you all to like, share, and subscribe. And again, thank you guys so much for the growth. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate it. And The Walking Dead Destinies is going to be coming out on November 17th for PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch, and PC. So, you know, if you guys are interested in playing this game, and if you guys have any of those, like, devices, like if you guys have any of those consoles, you guys could check this game out. I believe for US dollars is for $50, and probably Canadian it's a little bit more than that. So yeah, you know, if you guys are willing to actually give this game a shot on launch, you know, I would say go for it. But, you know, if you guys want to wait for a sale, or if you guys want to see playthroughs from me, you guys could just check out the game that way. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching.